With the release of Project Cars 3 just days away, I've been thinking about what I personally need out of the game to enjoy it. To frame that thought process, I decided to start with Project Cars 2. Project Cars 2 has been met with a lot of criticism over the last 3 years. Like, a lot. I think there's a few things that Project Cars 2 does right. For one, the track selection is great, and of course there's no shortage of cars to choose from. Add on top of that Project Cars 2 is a beautiful game to look at, and it's not particularly hard on your PC to run, even in VR, and you've got a solid foundation. The angst towards Project Cars 2 seems to be zeroed in on the physics and force feedback. I've discussed these before and I won't rehash them in great detail here, but suffice it to say that I believe the physics in Project Cars 2, when paired with the modded force feedback file of your choosing, behaves in a predictable fashion. Every sim feels different, and that's okay. As long as the cars react in a somewhat predictable fashion, I'm not going to complain. I think that's the most important characteristic of physics and force feedback. I'd agree that the curbs in Project Cars 2 leave something to be desired, but honestly, the physics in Project Cars 2 is fine for some fun racing with friends. And that is where Project Cars 2 shines for me. Some of the most fun I've had in sim racing has been in online races in Project Cars 2 with friends. The integrated multiplayer servers in Project Cars 2 make it so easy to create public or private races, which is a really nice feature that is missing from some other sims like AC, ACC, and Race Room. Racing the F355 Challenge car, the BMW 2002, and several other cars online with friends has truly been some of the most fun I've had in sim racing. And that's the key word I keep coming back to in Project Cars 2. Fun. Yes, I could nitpick about some other things, but none of that matters when I'm barreling into a corner trying to chase down friends with a huge smile on my face. Yes!
Left side, clear left.
And now I just gotta hang on. Oh no, 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 no!
He did it.
No, no, no! Nope. Ah, I gave it back!
Clear right.
Cool.
I have fun in Project Cars 2. What more could I need? So that brings us to Project Cars 3. Does Project Cars 3 have anything to offer that Project Cars 2 doesn't? We've all heard people complain about the changes they have made to Project Cars 3, such as the lack of pit stops. But I personally don't do long races and won't even notice they're gone. What about graphics? Project Cars 2 already looks and runs beautifully. Maybe Project Cars 3 will look even better, but that's not really necessary for me. What about content? Will it bring more cars and tracks? Not really. There's a lot of carryover between Project Cars 2 and Project Cars 3, and some content from Project Cars 2 is actually missing in Project Cars 3. There is some new content as well, but there's not really an abundance of new content in Project Cars 3 compared to Project Cars 2. So what does Project Cars 3 have to offer that Project Cars 2 doesn't already do? There's promise of a better single-player career game mode featuring vehicle customization options. A younger me would have loved that, and honestly older gray-bearded me would still have fun with that, but I probably don't have the time to deeply explore that aspect. However, I do think this sounds promising for the next generation of sim racers to get their feet wet having some fun modding and customizing cars to gain more experience in sim racing. So maybe Project Cars 3 will be a bit of a sim racing gateway or springboard for more players to get into sim racing, and I think that's a great thing. So far, I haven't really identified anything in Project Cars 3 that screams out to me that I just have to have it at launch day. For me, the best part of Project Cars 2 is the online racing and private races. If Project Cars 3 can deliver improvements in that aspect, sign me up right now. If the force feedback feels more natural, if the physics are more intuitive, if the curbs respond more naturally, then that is probably enough to elevate my online racing experience, and I'm in. On the other hand, if not much has changed with the force feedback and physics, if the curbs still behave oddly, then I'm not really sure that Project Cars 3 has much to offer me that Project Cars 2 doesn't already do. Project Cars 3 will be out soon. I have a feeling I'll be picking it up to make up my own mind about it. That's something I encourage you all to do. Give something a shot and see what you think. I'm looking forward to trying out Project Cars 3 for myself. I'm MoonieGT. I'll see you on track.